What I want to discuss with you in the next 1 hour, I want to share with you the ideas of employee happiness. This topic is very popular worldwide, and I know that it's also very, very popular here in Brazil. Next week, we'll have a great conference in São Paulo, the conference of positive psychology with a special section of employee happiness. And I hope if you are interested in this topic, you could find a lot of people with whom you could discuss this. And today I tried to make a first introduction how you could manage your employee happiness. What does it mean from the culture perspective? How you could engage your leaders, and how this type of culture could help you to achieve your results. Because we see that our clients who decided to implement this approach, or they have a really very huge results in increasing productivity, increasing engagement, increasing creativity. So I will share with you some figures also and some insights from different projects of different clients in different countries. But before we are starting, I want to make a short introduction of my previous experience. I have more than 20 years experience as a HR consultant. I have been working with biggest corporation, the smallest clients which we have 200 employees only, and the biggest client have closer to 1 million employees. So we are working with a company for also in different industries, and I'm focused on the projects in employee happiness management and corporate culture transformation, in employer brand management, in corporate well-being programs. All my experience based on my international connections with different countries, and a lot of projects which I see on the international conferences, and also as a member, head of jury of a different HR awards. So today I will share with you not only our consulting practice, but also experience which I saw in different countries. I also have a huge experience as a speaker, as a teacher and professor in different universities, in different schools. So I understand the power of learning, and I absolutely believe in the power of learning. And I think everybody who today here on the iSpring Days also believe in power of learning, and what all the changes which we want to make, they should be learning should be included is a very, very important part of it. So what I want to start to share with you ideas about employee happiness and about leadership, which we could build using this approach. I want to share firstly the citation from Richard Branson. I hope you know Richard Branson, the head of Virgin Group. This is very interesting person on both sides. From one side, a Virgin Group and Richard Branson, they like to count everything. They count investment, they count return on investment, they count effectiveness, and so on. But also, on the other hand, the Virgin Group was one of the companies who started to implement employee happiness approach. Why is it so? Because they see the results of this approach, and I will show it to you. And I want to share the idea of this type of culture. Idea is care about your employees, and they will care about your clients. So if we want to be a company who can win in the competition on the market, we want to help our clients to become happier, but it starts from our employees. If we help our employees to be happy at work, we will help our clients to become happier in the situation they will contact with our company. So from this idea, and thanks for Richard Branson, what it not only a trendsetter in this area, but a trendsetter in the counting in this area, I want to go deeper in idea of a science and the practice of employee happiness. What happiness is? There are a lot of questions about it on a lot of conferences, and sometimes we have a huge misunderstanding what happiness is. Usually when we talk about it, the people say, this is about emotion, how could we manage it? Or how we could make people happier if we don't want. For me, this is real to make people happier if they don't want, but that means what we don't understand what happiness is. Mostly when we discuss happiness, we discuss the hedonism approach. I see this is a typical Brazilian beach on one of the picture on my slides. Why is it so? Because sometimes people think, what if we will talk about happiness with our employees? They will ask us mostly about hedonism, about leisure, about some pleasure on work. They will prefer, for example, playing activity. I think you know what a lot of companies, especially IT companies, like to implement some facilities, for example, for gaming, for having pleasure, for having fun on work. And the employees start to think, no, I really want to be so attractive like Google, but if I will start to go this way, I have to implement something only for pleasure. But this is incorrect. Yes, hedonism and the pleasure is very, very important. And the pleasure of the work is also important for people. But it's very interesting what we not only to have pleasure for something when we're doing something easy or when we don't have a work. In the reality, a lot of people have a lot of fun, have a lot of pleasure when they achieve something. And for us, hedonism firstly means what we have a positive emotion. I will talk about it also later. And on the other hand, if we have only hedonism, it's a problem for us because in reality, for people, it demotivates. Because you need more and more and more pleasure. So that means they call it the hedonism adaptation. I think you meet this situation, for example, when you doing something for your employees and you see if you meet it, please, you could, I think you could stay your comments and my colleagues on my screen could share later, maybe you have some ideas. I think you meet a hedonic adaptation when you do something for your employees, maybe some new benefits, for example, something new, maybe sports facilities in the office. In the beginning, they say, wow, it's so great. But 1, 2, 3 months later, 6 months later, we start to think, oh, sport facilities, it's normal. We need more and more and more. So, but how hedonism adaptation works and why it's not about happiness. We need to remember about second and very, very important side of happiness from the HR perspective. This is, we call it the eudaimonism. Eudaimonism, is a word from the Greek, from the ancient period. What does it mean? That means the meaning of what you are doing and what you are doing something, what have this meaning for you and for the society. Whereas the true happiness of the people and love, it's not only my point of view, it's a point of view of positive psychology. What the real happiness, that means what you are doing something useful, something meaningful from one side, and also you have time for your pleasure, your leisure, and you have a positive emotion also from what you are doing. Based on this approach, we could see how we could change the culture in the companies. Why should we do this? I started from the Richard Branson, and here I want to share with you some numbers from the different scientific research. Now, the positive psychology have been made research more than 20 or 30 years. And I know what you have great research also here in Brazil. And I know a lot of scientists here who are working with different companies here, and they also have a huge results. How we're working with employee happiness could influence our corporation. For example, some numbers. We have plus 31% increase in productivity. I think it's very, very huge increase. So that means the people who are happier, they are more productive. Also, we have a 30% increase in career promotion. So that means what we have our talent pipeline, and we have the people who happier, they have more possibilities for promotion, and it's easier for us to have a backup in our talent pool. We also could see the huge increase, 37% in sales. For me, it's a very interesting scientific research when the companies start to work and analyze the people who work with clients strictly, and they see what if the salespeople feel themselves happy during their life, not just in the moment, just in their lives. So we could make a huge increase in the sales. So that means your investment in employee happiness could help you to increase your sales figures. Very interesting, another figure. This is minus 23%. This is decrease of impact of stress, because we are living in the world where a lot of different type of crisis, economic crisis, a crisis of cost of living, the climate changes, the pandemic, and so on. So for us, it's very, very important to help our employees to overcome the mental stress, the mental health issues, to prevent them from burnout. And they could see what the people who practice happiness, we are have a resilience. So for us, that means what they are become more productive quickly, quicker than other employees. And it's very interesting figure for me. And I could also share with you some cases from our clients. This is 300% increase in creativity. I could share some example of one of our clients. This is a company which is working in telecom industry. They have a lot of employees, 70,000 employees, and they decided to implement this approach. And one of the figure in which they unexpectedly have a great increase. This is increase in engaging in creative work, engaging in making the business process better, engaging in making the everyday duties better and better, because people start to come with a lot of ideas. So that means the company invests in employee happiness and well-being. On our hand, a company had a huge increase in ideas for employee, which could lead for increasing profits and decreasing the losses. So it is a real case from one of a telecom company. Also here I could see the data, so Virgin pools about different organization. You could see the two important impacts of employee happiness. From one side, if we base our culture on the people-centric approach and base it on employee happiness, we have a very huge impact on employee decision about dismissal. We prevent the losses of our best talents. So if people feel themselves happier, happy at work, that help them to stay with the company. They prefer this company, and we don't think about changing their company. But if they are unhappy and we have a negative culture, we have a lot of possibilities to lose our best talents. And I know what usually in this crisis situation, the best talents have the best possibilities on the markets to have some proposals from your competitors. So why it's important. And here also you could see the difference in productivity. I mentioned it earlier, and here you could see the difference between the most happier and most unhappier employees. It's more about 20% difference between you in productivity between your most happier and the less happy employees. So using it, you can understand what investing in the culture, which could be people-oriented, which help us to make our employees happier, can have a huge impact on our business and on our figures. How we could manage the happiness. I hope from this point you start to think about it's a very interesting idea, and maybe we should implement it like a lot of companies in the world start doing it last 10 years. So I would share this some approaches, and I will give you also 5 important steps how you could manage it. So I want to start with ideas about the models which you could use for managing this approach. The first very important topic for us for managing employee happiness, understanding what could impact the happiness of our employee, the happiness of people. This is the model of Martin Seligman. This is a very, very important person for positive psychology, of the science of happiness. And Martin Seligman made a lot of research, and she found what the 5 very important topics we have, and later he had also one more, and I will talk about it later. The 5 main important points which we need to focus when we start to work with this topic in our companies. It also when I talk about happiness, I talk from a personal perspective, but also from the perspective from HR perspective, a perspective for the leader. So I will have balance between these 2 sides. So what Martin Seligman said about employee happiness. The first thought is important for us. This is a positive emotion. That I mentioned it earlier, but the positive emotion is very important for us. If you have and your employees have a positive emotion about what we are doing, about your work, you have more possibilities to go to work every day and be more engaged. You don't have an absenteeism and presenteeism because they could damage the engagement or productivity. So the positive emotion is very, very important for us. What does it mean for us as a company? To think what they are doing, how they could impact our employees, and how we could increase the number of positive emotion in our team if we are team leaders, in our company if we are the HR who are responsible for the whole organization. The second important part, it's engagement. It's not the engagement which we usually as HR measure. This is engagement and what we are doing. Yes, we could say this is a part of HR engagement as we define it, but also it means our approach to doing something. What does it mean? For example, you are decided to visit in some events. For example, you decided to visit in training. What do you expect from the people? You expect that the people will be engaged. So what does it mean? Well, the people stay with you. They will hear what you are doing. We want to stay with you and share your ideas. They will participate in discussions, engagement. This is a way for increasing your happiness. So that means for us from a job, we need to make a design of what, how we work with people, how we learn people, for example, if we made a training for increasing their engagement in what they're doing. So I think what in this situation, the modern tools which you have for learning people, and I know what, for example, I have a lot of different tools for improving engagement during the learning process. So it helps us to make not only the learning process more effective, but also it will increase the employee happiness. The third part, relationship, it's very important. And if we talk about company, firstly, it's about the relationship inside the company between colleagues, with your boss in the company. But also, this is a situation about life-work balance, because we manage your relationship with your family. So we manage a relationship between your employee and between his family, his friends, is very important for his happiness. So that will influence how he or she will work. Before, very, very important part, and this is important, especially if we talk about HR. This is about meaning. What do I do during my work? What is the meaning? What I'm doing? When we talk about corporate culture, we talk about mission and vision. I see here in Brazil, there are a lot of companies who had their mission and vision, and I see it on the walls in some companies which I am visiting. And it's really important what the people understand what they are doing, why they are doing. So and it will impact the employee happiness also. So manage this way, we increase the employee happiness. So for us, means in the future what we will have all the effects of the happy employees. And the five is about achievements. It's also absolutely we can have a good understanding of it. This is our KPIs. This is about something what they achieve. This is about goals which we have. This is about what we can prize the employees who achieve something outstanding for the company. It's very important for us to feel ourselves like a winners, not like a losers, and it improve our feeling of achievement. So which is why it's KPIs is important not only for control, but it's important for people better understanding what we are really a good person, what we are doing their best. And I mentioned what else. So I have a six important element of happiness, and what Martin Seligman add in the end, it is about our health. Physical and mental health is also important, and we are as an employer could pay attention for it from a different perspective, from our mental health and physical health for some facilities. And it's great, but here we have a great fashion for the sport here in Brazil. And if we are as a company, it helps people to be engaged in some health activities, it's really, really good for them. So the 5 elements, and then instead we could manage it. We could check our approach for comp and ban policy from corporate culture, how we could increase all these 6 elements of happiness. I could add also 2 important models for highlighting some of my ideas. The next model is about Adam Grant. I think you know this great scientist. Adam Grant is, for me, is one of a famous and well-known scientist of current situation. And he said, what is important for the people to be engaged at work, to do more and to be more productive and be more happy. From one side, you need to have a personal motivation. So that means what I am as an employer could get from a company. And when you are as a HR, make projects of how we could motivate our employees, you should remember about what the people have their intrinsic motivation. Firstly, not only the not all the stimulation. Do this, have this, but also intrinsic motivation. But you have to understand what is important for different people. For some people, maybe this is the money, we need more money, for example, especially for the line employees. For other people, this is possibility for studying, for learning. For another employees, maybe this is a possibility about life-work balance. This is the personal motivation. And very interesting for other side. Nobody's we're not now. I'm not talking about only about office employees or about C-level. All the employees need to understanding what is the importance of their work. So you see, this is I'm highlighting it in all the slides. Meaning is very, very important for us. Leading by the meaning is modern approach for working with the employees. And here the third model, this is a model of a Scandinavian scientist, Martin Weinstein-Kiste. I have heard him on one of the greatest international conference on the happiness, and he said, how could we improve the productivity and engagement of employees? How we could improve the happiness at work? So they should be interested in what they do, and they should have curiosity about the tasks. They should have a task that could be a little bit difficult for them. So I want to make a reference to Mihai Csikszentmihalyi and his conception of flow. I hope what maybe you have heard about it. If not, I think what I could share with list of the books after our presentation, if you want, from my colleague, and also the book of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi about flow. It's a conception of the highest productivity in what you are doing. It is about curiosity, is doing something what you can do, but it's a little bit difficult for you. And here we could see what is important for our employees. And the second part, it's also about meanings of what we're doing, about understanding why I should do this. So this is the models you have to take into account when you decided to make a design of your people-centric culture based on employee happiness as an approach for building this type of culture. What should we take into account when we decided to go deeply in this process? How we could start to change it? We made a lot of different projects of a corporate culture transformation worldwide in different organizations. And we understand what the main topics with which we have to start it in the redesigning of our culture. This is a topic of leadership. We have to engage and to learn our leaders how to become the leaders of new format. And when we are talking about employee happiness, a people-centric organization, we have to talk about empathic leadership. So for us, that means the empathy is the base for becoming the best leader of the future. I want to share with you some ideas which I have heard from the greatest book of my Brazilian colleagues. For example, one of them is Professor Narbal Silva from the University of Santa Catarina here in Brazil, and he shares great insights based also on experience of his laboratory. what type of leadership could be very effective in the companies if they decided to go to the people-centric organization. There are three important topics for us. Firstly, this is the authenticity. This is authenticity of the leader. So what does it mean? It means what you understand as a leader yourself. This is about reflection. And also, this is about understanding other people. This is about empathy and about openness to the opinion of other people. So the first, what should we develop in our leaders? This is the authenticity. Understand yourself. If here you could see the conception of emotional intelligence. Hear yourself, understand yourself, and hear others, understand others, and be open to other opinion, to other approach. This is the first important part. The second, this is compassion of leaders. What does it mean? It's not only understanding other people, but also to have empathy, understanding why they are doing so, understanding their feelings of other people, and making a solution appropriate to the situation, not coming to the coming with decision which increase the stress of employees, but coming with decision which help employees to decrease their stress, to find the appropriate solution. A very interesting idea about solidarity. So you are as a leader, you are not out of your team, you are part of a team. And as a leader, you should have a solidarity with your employees. So that means that they understand what you are on their side. You will try to find the solution which is good for company and also for them. It's very interesting. I remember how I visited one of the international conference about happiness and managing happiness. It was very interesting discussion what is important for leaders, and here what the leader should be a professional, it should empathy, and very interesting for me was the idea what the leaders should have a good intention about other people, and for me this is about compassion. So you as a leader should have a good intention when you are doing something. So that means you are trying to really help other people. You have to increase their life, increase their happiness. You have to care about them. And very interesting, the third idea about leadership, empathic leadership. It is leadership without ego. What does it mean? Usually in the past, the civil leader is the people who is as a first person coming and saying, come on, I'm could be the first, I'm in the avant-garde of our company. And also this is a leader who could say, wow, I'm here, I'm a boss, I'm a great person, I'm smartest person, I'm the smartest person in the room. But now is very, very interesting. And for me, it's closer to the conception of sovereign leadership, which provided by the Simon Sinek, the great expert in leadership, and science of leadership. So if it say what we have leader without ego, what does it mean? That means that this type of leader could hear other people, should be open to another opinions. It was very interesting for me. I could mention the Adam Grant book, Think Again. He also write about this idea, what only if you understand what you are not the best, what you could be wrong in some situation, you could find the best solution because you could hear the arguments of the other side. You could be a really creative person. So for us, it means what you are not the number one, but what you are one of your team, and you help your team as a servant leader become more and more productive. When we talk about this model of leadership, they see what type of leaders do we need. And it's starting from a recruitment process, but also this is a huge development process. So we need to study our leaders about this conception, about using this conception in their everyday life. What is important for this type of leaders? And what should we help them as a leaders to do? Here it is not about hard skills. This is mostly, it's not also, we could say it's only about the soft skills. It's also about, I could say, the people skills, their skills as a person. But firstly, this is a good understanding their intrinsic values, the values of leader, what is important for him, and why he or she doing something. This is the first step for transforming your culture, especially if you want to build a people-centric culture, to discuss with leaders their values. How do they look at the employees, at the team members? For some people, they could say, this is a resource for me. And so that means that we have a value where the people is not included as a important part. For other leaders, we could tell you what is important for them. Results, but not only maybe their result, but also important the people and feeling of the other people. So when we talk, I know the leaders, it was very interesting session with one company. It was a C-level. These companies who discuss the values, the company's values, about the company's values, when we talk about management by values, should be based on the C-level values, should be aligned. And it was very interesting value which we mentioned. In the beginning, we started from the normal values like to be professional, like competency and so on. But in the end, they say love. Our value is love. We want to build the company based on love. Love as a part of our culture. Love to each other, love our clients, love our partners, love what we are doing. So it was so strong value for the most part of people in the room, what they are decided to make this unusual value a value for the total company. So this is the first what we should be important, and we need the huge level of reflection. And here we could use the coaching as approach for helping people. The second important part is openness to relationship. What does it mean for us? It means what the people who are leaders should love other people, should be open to them, should be open to hear them. And it's important to hear the people with other opinions. If you want to really build a people-centric company, that for us it means what we should be open sometimes for the conflicts, but the conflicts are constructive conflicts. The conflicts is a situation where the people could openly share their opinions with others. That means that also what you are as a leader should be open, but it should be sure in yourself. You should be sincere with other people. It's very important for us to build the constructive culture in the company. The third important part. A third important part is understanding what our strong sides and what our weak sides, how we could manage it, and how we build the team which help us to increase our capacity, which could prevent the problems with our weak sides, and how we could use our strong sides and how we could also use their strong side. So it's conception of using the strong sides. It is based on the Marcus Buckingham book, What is the Best Leaders Doing Another Way? And it is very important conception. What usually they focused on what people do in the bad way and try to fix it. But it's better to fix all the strong sides of your employees on your team. And also it's important for leader. So what does it mean for us? The first, when you have a plan for developing your team, for developing your employees, focus not only what they should to increase because they maybe now it's not very good in it, but also focus in what do they have as a strong side and how we could increase it more and more, because it helps us to become better as a whole team. And if your leader understands themselves and understand what are his strong sides, and here is also coaching, feedback, and different tests which help us to know more. We have very interesting tests for positive psychology. This is a test of via character. This is a very interesting test which helps you to know more about your strong sides, which you could implement in your work and become happier. So this is one of the type of the tests which you could use. And the last, this is understanding of a leader, how we could manage the information from the different sides. I think you remember what I told about solidarity. So that means to be open to other opinions and be ready to hear the different voices. So that means to understanding the different stakeholders, from people from to the boss to subordinates. So when you understand all the interests of other people, you could manage them using your strong sides and understanding your own opinion and try to find the equilibrium for the better decision, so you could be the really strong leader. And now the last part of my presentation, because we're coming to the end, and if you have questions, I'll be ready to answer on them. This is the 5 important steps how we could build the culture of happiness. They made these transformation projects with different companies and the different countries, and we understand what it takes time, because we need not only we change culture, we need to change people opinion about themselves, people opinion about leadership, the people opinion about leaders. So we have a huge difference. So what should we do? Here is the 5 important steps which we should doing for the better people-centric culture. The first, you have to better understand what type of culture do you have in the company. This is the management by values approach. You understand your vision and your mission. Remember what the meanings of what you are doing is very important for different companies. Here I could share some examples of our projects. And also the vision and mission and what we are doing is very important for the people from the employer brand perspective. Why is it so? Employer brand, this is also one of the greatest trends in this area. What the people asking, why am I here? And as Simon Sinek said, starting with the question why. So when you have the answer for this, what you are doing here in our company, if you understand this, you could be engaged in what you are doing, because all of us want to be a part of something bigger when we are. And also our values is very important as the base of the company. And if you should start from the leadership values, from the leaders' values, and also understand the values of your employees and align them with the values which you want to implement to become more people-centric, to help your employees happier at work and bring the best of themselves their work. So this is the first step. working with culture, and have some important points for the culture transformation as the orientation. The second, you should change the model of leadership based on your values, based on your mission, based on what I talked earlier. It's about what type of leaders you should be for improving your culture, becoming more people-centered. And also here, the second step, we should start from the trainings and the learning your leaders. Without it, our culture could stay as a slogans, only as a slogans. But if you train your leaders, if you train them to become not only to do something like to control other people, but if you train your leaders to be leaders based on people-centered approach, to based on empathic leadership, if you help them to increase their empathy, to be open to other people, to hear them, to give them feedback in appropriate way. So it helps you to improve your model of leadership, and it really will have a huge impact your culture. The third step, very, very important, is the employee experience. Now we have a lot of debates about it in all the HR conference. What type of a process should we have, an HR process, business process in our companies for achieving the employee experience the way which we need for a very people-centric company. The fourth step, it's about employee well-being. And I strongly recommend to you to implement the employee well-being program, not only as a benefits, but also as a part of your happiness culture. It is a special event. And also here is a huge influence you will have if you learn your people to become happier, because people don't know how to be happy, how to practice happiness. And for example, for a lot of our employees, we launch the happiness marathons and teach them what does it mean to be happy. And 5 steps. It is about communication. You need a strong communication inside your company, a lot of internal communication, a lot of discussion, and different types between colleagues, with bosses, for the whole team. And it helps you to become to make your employee more happier, and you need to make analysis and make some decisions based on it. And I recommend using design thinking process for better understanding your people as a people on each of these 5 steps. And in the end, also I want to share last slides. Please important when you make this for 5 steps, what you should do them on 3 levels. The personal level, I will start from the personal level. What the employee should do in this situation, how we could help him to become happier, how we could learn them to become happier. So a lot of companies now have a special training program for increasing employee well-being. They teach the people become happier. You could see, for example, on mock platforms, some mock platforms, special courses about happiness now is very, very popular. And I could say you, please launch this type of courses for your companies, because this is very important to teach your employees become happier. And they also could help their families become happier. The second level, this is a team level. We could teach our leaders, team leaders, to make happier their team, the people with whom we work every day. And the third level, this is a company. This is a company culture. This is a skill level. This is the process of the company. All these 3 levels, all these 5 steps on these 3 levels will help us to design the new culture. And here, the last slide, some hacks or from the different companies which I have. What should you using? It's a small hacks which help you to make how one of my colleagues said, HR could be the architecture of resonance, which help us to come from I to we. So we start to say we are, not I am. And here's some ideas. please make a permission for making mistakes. So that means for you to be open and tolerant, have tolerance. And for example, interesting idea, when the new employee come to work, they have a special permission with a sign of say, please, you could make mistakes. And this is my permission to do this. And that means what you can do this if you decided to try something new. And this is the culture when all the people, including CEO, would come and say and talk about their mistakes. It's very, very important for us to be open, to have empathy and understand that all of us are people. Also, before starting each meetings, make emotion evaluation. It's very important, especially for remote work. Because we don't feel the people from the body side. What do they feel? If you align this, you will discuss your emotions in the beginning of the meeting. It could increase the atmosphere in your team, and especially great for the team management. You could practice the gratitude. It's one of the best practices in increasing employees. So say thanks to other people. Say thanks for what they are doing for you inside company. Say, as a leader, say thanks to your employees and help people to say thanks each other to their colleagues. It increases the relationship and increases a lot of positive emotion. And as I mentioned, please educate your people about happiness. As I said, the happiness is a very strong approach, which helps us to increase productivity, creativity, resilience, and a lot of positive effects on our business. But becoming a company which based on happiness, we need to study. We need to teach our leaders. We need to teach our employees for becoming happier. This is what I want to share with you as I see the end of our time. So I would share some of my contacts. You could write me. I will share with you with some names I mentioned, maybe some books I mentioned, any other books, maybe if you are interested. So if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. My name is Eugênia, eu sou gerente de Brasil, gerente de marketing do Brasil. Eu estou aqui para ajudar Tatiana a responder suas perguntas em inglês ou em português. Eu falei para Tatiana muito obrigada agora e vou falar em inglês e depois vou traduzir em português. Tatiana, we have commentaries that one person actually shared that she is also a researcher of happiness at work, and it's excellent. And she's also going to launch some instruments that measure happiness at her job now. But it's first time in Brazil, this. And also she said that she loved that you mentioned Professor Dr. Narbal, and she really liked it as well. So looks like we are very happy with what you shared with us. And I have a bunch of questions. First of all, I have a question that, according to your approach here, you say that it's better to start from leadership education, right? So we start from helping people to understand the culture, then we study, then we helps with education of leaders, and then our culture will grow to different levels. My question is, why we don't start opposite? Why we don't do like from massive attack, right? From massive culture, and then we go to up. Why we do opposite? And wait a minute, I will translate my question in Portuguese for people to understand this. And you answer for me in English, please. Eu perguntei, Tatiana, por que nós precisamos implementar de cultura de liderança ou cultura de human-centric, né? Por que nós precisamos implementar iniciado no líderes? Por que nós não fazemos comunicação grande dentro de empresa e não falamos para todos, né? E falamos sobre nossos objetivos, nossa missão, nossa cultura para todo mundo. E nós iniciamos a educação no liderança, e depois eles vão compartilhar com todo mundo. E Tatiana vai responder em inglês, eu vou traduzir em português.
Why we want we should start from the leaders, because if leaders don't believe in this conception of people-centric, of what they imply happiness, what is it, and what it could influence the business result, we could meet the situation as the people, subordinates, come to leader, try to implement something, try to ask, for example, for more openness, try to discuss some topics, and leader said, oh, I don't believe in it. And it will have a more impact with everything what the company say to the particular employees. This why, firstly, we have to work with leaders. We are leading by example. It's a very, very important approach. So firstly, we start with leaders. We help them to understand the conception. We help them to change their behavior. And after that, we will facilitate a change of the people behavior in their teams, which is why it's important to start with leaders.
Thank you so much. It makes sense. I will translate. So, primeira coisa, porque eu vou falar um pouco mais curto que a Tatiana explicou para mim, para nós, né? Que você não entende, se você não entende em inglês. Então, qual é a ideia? Se nós vamos iniciar como lideranças, eles têm capacidade, eles têm empática, eles têm tudo possível para explicar para todo mundo, eles vão saber que a verdade vai funcionar. Então, se você tem esse suporte de líderes, se você explica para eles, mais fácil eles vão saber que a verdade essa vai funcionar. E por isso, esse é interessante. Se você tem algumas outras perguntas, por favor, gente, escreva no YouTube. Eu vou ajudar a traduzir isso para vocês. E eu vou perguntar uma outra coisa para Tatiana em português primeiro e depois em inglês. Por que, ou seja, qual ferramenta, qual research, né, nós precisamos fazer para medir essa happiness? Pode ser algumas ferramentas, né? Eu acho que é bom para nós saber o que nós precisamos usar amanhã, já depois dessa palestra, para aprender como sim. Tatiana, please, can you...
I could answer because I understand Portuguese better than I could speak. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I can recommend you to start with, you could use a questionnaire, which prepared, for example, by Martin Seligman. We have, in positive psychology, we have some different tools, for example, based on PERMA model, which I mentioned in my presentation, and ask your employees based on this questionnaire. You can find them because they're open, and it's better. And also, because I mentioned Narbal Silva, I know what he prepared the special tools validated in Brazil, and after the Congress, I think we also could connect with him and ask maybe he could share the tools. But what is interesting, sometimes very interesting, very simple questions could start changes. My attention to the employee happiness starts from the book about Scrum. It's not about happiness, it's not about HR, it's about Scrum as approach to manage projects. And one simple questions that the author asked to his employees: are you happy? Are you feel yourself happy? And it's very interesting, but the answer on these very simple questions will help him to predict the productivity on the next sprint. So you just ask your employees from some simple questions for understanding what do they feel now, and try to understand what helps you to predict their productivity and what you can do for them. And it is subjective happiness, but it's very strong side of our happiness. How do we feel ourselves? So my recommendation, from one simple questions to some questions you can find on the market, and also special Brazilian questions also which you have.
Eu vou traduzir para você, que Tatiana, muito obrigada. Que ela falou, né? Existe alguns metódicos que ela já compartilhou com nós durante essa apresentação, mas eu quero falar sobre a PMA Model, né? PMA Model, pode ser em português. Mas muito importante que você precisa fazer é perguntar seus colegas. E qual é a ideia muito importante? Você pode iniciar com muito simples pergunta: como você está hoje? Como você está hoje? Ou seja, você está com felicidade hoje? Quando você vai fazer esses pequenos movimentos para encontrar seus colegas, isso já vai ajudar para você muito e vai mudar essa cultura. Porque se a pessoa vai ficar preparada e se a pessoa vai saber que a minha empresa está perguntando, ela está cuidado comigo. Isso já vai ajudar de vocês. E uma outra coisa, né, eu vou falar é o professor Silva, né?
Normal
Ele,
Silva, sim, correto.
obrigada. E, por exemplo, ele tem alguns tools, né, alguns questionários já em língua portuguesa, já para brasileiros, que você pode usar no seu trabalho. E agora eu posso falar para Tatiana, muito obrigada. Obrigada, viu? Eu vou dar uma microfone agora para Simone também. Tatiana, obrigada.
Obrigada pela convite. Obrigada pela convite.
Muito obrigada. E até logo, gente.
Logo.
Depois fala.